Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Onyx Path Twitch, where today we have gathered for episode 8 of the Wild Hunters Exalted Essence. Very pleased to be back here with you one more time, visiting the world of Exalted Essence. Speaking of the world of Exalted Essence, it would be folly of me to fail to mention that the Essence Player's Guide is now over on BackerKit. If you hit that link that I just dropped in the chat, or if you type exclamation point essence in the chat at any point, it'll bring up a link to the Essence Player's Guide on BackerKit. It's already funded, and we've unlocked several stretch goals already. Get over there, get in on it. It's got everything you might want as a Essence player. It's got chapters dedicated to each Exalt type with new charms, loads of tips, tricks on how to play them, alternate features, expanded access to milestones, things like that. So, very cool book. Highly recommend you go pick that up. I have backed it myself. As I frequently like to point out on this stream, I don't actually generally work on Exalted other than to do layout. So, it's super cool to just be able to enjoy it as a fan. A lot of the games that I play, I also work on, which is fun and all, but it's nice to be able to just sit back as a fan and chill and be like, oh, that's a neat thing that I didn't have to, sweat over. Uh, so, uh, yeah, I'm loving it. I definitely recommend you check it out. Speaking of other things that I think you should check out, this week's release over at Drive Through RPG is With Great Power for Trinity Continuum Aberrant. It's the first Aberrant release we've had in a little while. I'm super excited to see that out in the world. I contributed quite a bit to this book. I got to do the Team Tonight write up. I got to write up the Justice Heroes. I got to incorporate Connor's Loss Management, which was born on this very Twitch channel many years ago. It was the first company I created in the first Aberrant stream I ran on this channel. So it's official in the book now. It's everything you could want to know about running a superhero team in the world of Aberrant. And it's up right now in advanced PDF over Drive Through RPG at the link I just dropped in the chat. I think that pays the bills for us. So let's go ahead and meet our players. Bliss, if you could, please tell us who you are, what you do, who you're playing, your pronouns, their pronouns, and anything you would like to promote.
Hello, I am Bliss Steel, she, her. I am playing Cessus Torea, also she, her. She is a sneaky, bow wielding, hiding type with a big black scary kitty cat. And I am a streamer of video games with a spicy flair that you can check out at blisssteel.com if you are over 18. Nothing really to promote right now except the fact that I am streaming again, so you can check me out on Thursdays and Fridays, sometimes Wednesdays, and maybe sometimes Saturdays. So yeah, go check me out if you want to.
Some rock and roll. And thank you so much for being here. And Michael, your pertinence, please.
Hello, I'm Michael. I'm playing Cestus Volcan, he, him, and man with big sword is probably the only thing I can describe him right now as. I am a composer, voice actor, and writer, and also stream on Twitch as Asterisk VTuber, and I go live every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at this point right now. So you can catch me on Twitch, as well as the finale of the game that I'm running for Onyx Path, the Trinity Continuum Anima Masks in the Mirror is starting next Thursday, and that will be a grand old time.
And that's going to be the finale, effectively.
It's the finale. Depending on what the players do, the finale might last like two sessions, but hopefully one session.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations on getting there. I know it's been a wonderful journey, and we've got all those episodes up to the most recent, I believe, are now live over on the YouTube. So if you want to catch up on that, you can head over to Onyx Path's YouTube channel and catch up on all those past episodes ahead of the big finale. So, Anything else that you need to, that you wanted to share or promote before we dive in?
Oh no, I'm good, I think. Yeah.
Rock and roll. Oh yeah, and I'm Travis Heather. When I'm not running games, I'm writing them. But today, I have the extreme honor and pleasure of running some Exalted Essence. So when last we met, um, the group had decided it was best to sail to the Blessed Isle. Um, they had heard some intelligence that the conspiracy of Catholic and Pelops were not only making moves on in the West, but were also had designs on the throne itself. And the group decided that they would be better served making their way to the Blessed Isle and trying to protect the throne than they would be staying out in Wujian away from this main action. Sailing into the Blessed Isle, as they sort of made their way around, headed toward the Imperial City around the northern coast, they saw an imperiled village by the shore, war, banners of House Catholic, House Pelops, seemingly razing this village to the ground. So they pulled over to help. They docked their boats and hopped out and realized that this was not only a village that was primarily held by Neiman, but in fact was where Neiman kept a summer home. After fighting their way in and routing the enemy forces, the group discovered that Neiman herself was actually present and fought their way into her manse, where they were able to um, rescue her, I guess, loosely speaking, from the assailants. They were able to dance over a pile of bodies and get to her where she was fighting her way free from assailants. Um, but she was extremely wounded. She was not in great shape. Um, and that was kind of where we left things. You had reclaimed the village and routed the enemy forces, but things were still burning. It was still a problem. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, your plan was to evacuate the people, get them onto the boats, and continue your way toward the Blessed Isle.
Yes.
Um, we're going to assume, because Ryan is unable to join us today, that Maris is handling the specifics of the evacuation, the logistics of getting people onto the boats, at least at the beginning of the session. And we will get into what Telrea and Vulcan are up to shortly. But before we dive into your activities, did we have any milestones we wanted to spend, any questions, any things that we needed to resolve mechanically before we move forward?
I do. Um, First of all, I think I'm gonna hold on to the major milestone because I have no idea what to do with it yet.
Okay.
But I have a question about the Exalt milestone.
Sure.
I did read that there's a section that was outlining let me see if I can find it again. Outlining customizing charms
Yes.
as in gaining our personal modes
Yeah,
as
so
a thing.
you can gain a new mode or repurchase a charm.
Yes, but in more asking about what's in the appendix where it's talking about on page, let's see, on page 357.
Okay.
It says personal mode creation. All characters have the option to create a personal mode of any of their charms.
Yes.
It's a special right on a charm that suits the character's style of play and should offer a meaningful bonus or inflict a dangerous penalty or do something unique that other modes the character has access might not do.
Okay.
Um, is it possible for me to spend a Exalt milestone to go into essentially spending time to practice the right white man. Speaking is hard for me today. White Reaper style and focus it so that I can essentially get as like for example, is it possible for me to spend the exalt to have a mode on the bleeding crescent strike so that even if I'm attacking a singular target, I can get double eights as a mode?
Oh, okay. Um, yeah, I have no objection to that. I think that's a reasonable um it's reasonable based on the power level of the charm and the cost of raising it. I'm just double checking it here to see specifically how the original Bleeding Crescent strike works. So you spend a mote and a number of halos.
Mm-hmm.
You double nines on the attack roll or eights for attacking a battle group. Each
Yep.
halo you expend on an enhanced decisive attack, add one die to the attack's damage. Or, sure. Yeah, I don't see
Yep.
any reason. I was just double checking the wording to make sure that the doubles didn't act differently if it was whether it was decisive or withering, because I would want it to stay the same. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah,
I'd want to keep the
exactly.
same cadence, but yeah,
The
yeah,
the the damage rolls would actually be on White Reaper form itself. So if I wanted to do that, I guess I'd spend another and do another mode on that one as well, and just keep spending stuff if I needed to. But I think right now I just wanted to test out the Bleeding Crescent Strike and see how that works.
yeah. That seems fine to me. I don't see any reason why that would be an issue.
Sounds good.
So yeah, I would just note that as like a personal mode on that. Were there any other expenditures that you wanted to make this session?
I think besides that, there was one more, and I'm good to go, which was using a minor milestone, and I'm going to increase my athletics by one.
Glorious.
And that's it.
Rock and roll. Bliss, did you have any expenditures that you wanted to make or anything you wanted to buy? Anything you wanted to change?
Yeah, I did it while waiting to start the stream real quick. I spent one on the first point of integrity because I didn't have any. And then I
Yep.
spent a couple more on more charms. So now I've got streaming arrow stance, which makes me not have to use close combat or athletics when I'm doing defense. And I did arrow storm attack, which makes it so that I can attack battle groups
Nice.
better.
I love it.
And I have one more, and I don't know what to do with it, so I'll just let it chew.
What kind of milestone is it?
I think it's the exalt one where I could have, yeah, I could raise a merit or whatever, but I don't know what to do with that yet. Maybe I'll get a new one soon and want to raise that. Who knows?
For sure.
Raise a merit. Oh, the major one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of merits, before we begin, did either one of you want to use your Princes of the Earth to gain I believe you're at this point, secondary merit for you? Because you are all now Essence 2, correct?
Yes.
Yep. What? You can do what?
So, with your, as Dragon Bloods, with Princes of the Earth, um, you are able to, I think it's called Princes of the Earth. Yeah, basically, you're able to use once per session. You can use your contacts to pull together a merit that would temporarily last until the end of the session or longer if you refresh it. If you use the same feature the next session to extend it.
Might as well, right?
Yeah, so you can,
Yep.
it can be anything from like, if you wanted to drum up some spies,
Mm.
that would be an option if you wanted to get your hands on a weapon. Um, Basically, any one of the merits you can treat as though you have it at secondary, um, acquiring it from your contacts within the realm.
Yeah, it's feels weird to say, but is it possible to it feels weird because we're in such a kind of touch and go situation right now.
Mhm.
But if possible, I would if it's possible to use the that to get resources, specifically just medicine and food and whatnot for all the refugees.
Sure. Yeah. Couple ways that we could skin that. You may know a place nearby that's loyal that you
Yeah,
would be
as we
able to
move.
get that from. That would be the easiest. Um, that you're able to say, oh, a couple hours up the coast, I know someone. I know a town that is loyal to my house. We'll be able to get the food, get the items we need. So yeah, that's fine.
Yep. All right, sounds good.
That works for me. So you're going resources for this spend. Go ahead and mark that down. And was Telray going to grab anything, or do you want to hold off on that? Or
Um, I suppose make I can upgrade my Cessus spy network backing merit to make them better. Because we need like people to give us the lay of the land as we move in closer because we didn't even know that this stuff was happening before we got here. So it'd be cool to have like a scout.
yeah, set up additional scouts and heads up. Put the word
Yeah.
out through your spy network.
Yeah.
That works
It's
for
like, hey,
me.
we're going in here. Can you let me know if there's anything crazy we should know about? Or yeah.
Beautiful. And so it is ordered. So it is done. Um, Evacuating. So I guess is your intention to just abandon the place, or are you going to try to like preserve the structures first? Are you going to fight the fires that are actually burning? Um, you can try to save what you can of the town, or you
Are
just
we
like
being
get these
actively
people.
pursued?
No, you
Yeah,
routed
because
the
you've still
army.
got lots of. Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
good.
you routed the enemy army. They're
Yeah, we
heading for the
should
hills.
Okay.
let some of our battle group, try to at least put out fires so that like we don't just leave it spreading. That would be bad.
Yeah,
Right on.
definitely spend time on the buildings and stuff if that's the case.
Yeah,
We can't
just
just
make sure
take a
everything
bunch
is
of people
okay.
and leave them and then come back. It's like, okay, well, you're safe now, and there's no house to come back
Right.
to.
It's just like it's like
Good
one
luck.
one busted, scorched piece of wood sticking out of the ground. Like we've returned you to your home. Yeah,
Make a lean-to.
maybe not.
No.
All right, yeah. So you organize some of the battle groups, but also the citizenry into um, a bucket brigade, effectively. Uh,
Mhm.
you get Neiman on the boat and are able to have her wounds sort of at least begin to be addressed. What, where would both of you be wanting to put your personal attention throughout this time?
At this point, understanding that we are probably outgunned and outmanned, so to say, um, I don't. I'll probably be tending to all of the refugees and making kind of like searching around between them, as I said, with the resources once first healing them and providing them with food or anything, but also kind of seeing if there's anybody that's able-bodied enough for us to be able to utilize, I would say. Just kind of like fostering a more like a deeper connection with people in that sense, and
Okay,
see who's yeah, available.
so kind of assessing and constructing your uh, grassroots network, as it were, of the locals and the survivors and the things along those lines, right?
Yeah, and seeing if there's anybody that is of enough capability to form some sort of a militia, if need be, to like defend the ship while we're not here, et cetera, like a defensive force instead of an offensive force.
Sure. Why don't you give me a roll? Let's lean first on um, your choice of embassy presence or war.
I'll do presence.
All right. Let's give that a shot and see what we come up with here. I'm going to say that we're going to start off at difficulty 3. You're going to have 3 obstacles to overcome. The first one, of course, is going to be um, just kind of assessing the personnel. So that'll be what our first roll will fall to.
Okay, 6 successes here.
Glorious. So that gives you a net of 3 successes. So we're going to go ahead and say that you'll be able to bank that toward increasing the ultimate drill of the battle group that you would create.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's go for our second, and this is going to be aimed at bolstering their spirits. They're a little bit crestfallen. They've had some bad experiences of late. um,
I would say so, yeah.
uh, what ability would you like to lean on for overcoming that?
Um, I think at this point I would still be using um I would say I would be using present still, kind of like having myself be kind of an example in the sense that we understand where we're coming from, we understand where we're going, and and kind of lead by example, as in like I'm in the trenches with you as well, and you'll have me with you, that type of deal.
Beautiful. Yeah, go ahead and give me another roll. We're again going to be at difficulty 3.
7 successes this time.
Beautiful. So that is enough to kick up your drill by 1,
Okay.
or alternatively, you may choose to keep their drill low, but have them basically have a minor intimacy of loyalty to you.
Um, I think the latter makes more sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. And that does leave you 2 successes sort of floating at the moment. And then you may make one more roll, and this one is just going to be to sort of weed out actual capability based on their perceived capability.
Yeah. Okay. With that, is it possible for me to use a close combat roll to kind of assess
Sure.
their abilities in that? Okay.
I think that works.
3 successes this time.
Glorious. So you are able to kind of pick apart the ones that are maybe enthusiastic, but maybe not. Their skill does not match their level of enthusiasm, and sort of get separate them and be like, oh, you can bring water to soldiers and drag bodies off the field, and just don't try to pick up a sword. They're able to sort of get everything sorted out, get the crew kind of assembled, figure out who is really just bystanders and who can sort of raise up to the level of militia. And so we're going to say you've generated a size 2 battle group of militia. They are commoners. They are not well trained. But so they're size 2 drill 0 commoners. And whilst Vulcan is working on assembling a militia, what is Telrea up to?
There's only so much you can do on a boat, but I think probably talking to was it Neiman?
Yeah, Tanima.
About the state of things and find out how much she knows and if she's got any advice and
Sure,
what she thinks we should do.
sure. As you head into the sick bay, effectively, you find the ship's surgeon kind of standing just outside the door, a little exasperated. They are just kind of catching their breath as you walk up, and they sort of stiffen up as you approach and say, "Oh, greetings."
Hi. How's everything? Do you need anything?
Just the patient is insistent on treating herself.
Well, that's good. That'll free you up to deal with the rest of these people.
He nods. Of course. Forgive me. And he runs up and heads up the stairs to go out and sort of assess who might need treatment out in the field. Neiman says, "You are the Cessus girl, the Telrea, yes?"
Yes, that's me.
She nods. "Thank you for your assistance."
Yeah, I tried my best. How are you doing?
I'll heal. Once the
Good.
swelling goes down in my eye, I can get this damnable patch off and be able to see again. Otherwise, nothing more than inconveniences.
Yeah, good. So what's your plan? When we get to the Imperial City?
Well, I will make my way to the Imperial Manse, find out whichever pretender has dared to sit upon the throne, slaughter them, unceremoniously, preferably in front of as many people as possible, and then I will claim my rightful place on my mother's throne.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, that sounds good to me. We can help you out with that. We got muscle and brains and arrows.
She nods. All useful assets. I had hoped that I would come to power through the mutual consent of the houses. In the fullness of time, they would see that my mother is not going to return and that I should be awarded that which is my birthright. Unfortunately, some of my siblings thought it best to jump the gun and try to rush progress. So now I have no choice but to seize the power that is my due. Those who recognize that and are able to assist me in that endeavor will be rewarded.
Um, how do you plan on ruling? I guess, because yeah, it's gonna be a very tumultuous throne to sit on, if you know what I mean. It's gonna be kind of shaky.
There will be, I'm sure, people who need assurances and reminders, and I'm happy to provide both in blood.
Right. How long has this been going on with your siblings doing this stuff? And do you think it contributed to the flimsiness of, the way things have been able to unfold in the past couple of weeks that shit has been hitting the proverbial fan?
Well, things have been tumultuous ever since my mother's disappearance, but in recent months, pressures have been building. Every time a new report of anathema rising in the distant territories upsets the peace of the realm.
Yeah. What I'm wondering is how are we going to re-establish any kind of peace once the blood has been shed? You know what I mean? Kind of
Well,
seems like your plan only goes as so far as to secure the area, and then what do we do? You know what I mean?
once the throne is safely mine and the dissenters have been put down, we redouble our efforts and our commitment to the Immaculate Order. We inform heaven that the true leader is once again sitting upon the Scarlet Throne, and we put the forces of divinity to work to assist us in confirming and reaffirming the natural order of things.
That's a good idea. I agree. Actually, I found myself in the position to be chatting with minor agents of the divinity, and I do believe that that is probably the best way to go about the unifying those of us here in the mortal realm. I think we need all the help we can get and the backing of the divine.
It is, after all, their purpose. We are ordained to maintain the land, to control creation, and heaven is there to support us. We rule by divine right. Perhaps it is time to remind others of that. Now, tell me, do either of you have any specific, special, particularly I'm thinking of like passive anima abilities, um, that allow you to like sense incoming danger or perceive attacks before they take place, things along those lines?
I do not.
I don't think so.
Okay. As you're talking to Nima, you start to hear some shouting above deck.
Uh-oh.
That's not
Duty
good.
calls. Well, I guess I'd better go check that out.
Right?
You stay here. Continue to heal.
She nods. You start running up the top. Were you saying something, Vulcan?
No, I'm probably there on the on the
Yeah.
top.
Are you dealing with these people out on the boat? Are you dealing with them like by the shore? Are you dealing with them like where are you conducting your drills? I guess with these people as you're sort of assessing them.
Probably depends on whether or not if there's not space on the boat and we're not traveling and we're kind of docked at this point, then I'll probably be like on the shore.
Right.
Also.
So yeah, you're on the shore, not far away, as you hear someone shout fire on top of on the deck of the boat, and you see that um, it looks like four fires have started. Two of them in the sails, two of them on the deck itself. Um, they look like they were started by uh, flaming arrows or javelins, perhaps. It's a little hard to say for sure. Um, but you definitely see some sort of a shaft kind of sticking out of the fires. And Telrea, as you run to the top of the deck, you see the same thing. Someone seems to have lit the boat aflame from a distance.
I'm gonna call up to whoever's on spyglass duty and be like, what the heck? Do you see where that came from?
I can't see anyone.
What?
Put out the fires first. I'll just
Nice.
kind of run back to the ship.
They start moving to extinguish the flames.
Invisible attackers.
If we're just really far away. Remember, you can also shoot arrows from very far away.
I can, if I know what I'm aiming at.
They definitely knew what they were aiming at.
Mm-hmm.
If you would like to make, you can. I will let you go with ranged combat, or I'll let you go with war, or I would let you go with awareness.
Right, combat is my speciality. Mm. I got 6 successes.
Well, only got 2, so I didn't see anything.
Yeah, with two, you're like, yeah, someone shot these arrows from somewhere.
I think
Our
it came
arrows.
from a far range. I
Yeah.
don't think somebody punched the sails.
With you got 6 successes.
Yeah.
You can determine that these were not shot at a great distance. They appear to have been shot probably within what you would say is long range, within probably like 100 meters of where you're standing. They were shot from, and you can also tell that there is some sort of magic at work, some sort of ability at play with these arrows. They were based on the distance from which they were fired and the angles at which they are embedded. They had to have been guided by magic of some sort.
Think we have a mole, a double agent, inside job, somebody on the ship. We need to interrogate everybody one by one.
Okay.
I was
You want-
joking, but because I feel like that would take a while.
Might
Would-
take a while.
That would take a while. That is an option. You're pretty sure they didn't fire it from the boat. Um, and as you look out into the areas, like you don't see a vantage point where they might have been standing. As far as you can see, there's no one in those areas where they should have been firing from.
We need Maris here to like see invisible things with that magic of his.
Well, Niemann's inside.
Oh, true. I'm gonna go down to Neiman. You can come too if you want. Neiman! We have a situation.
She stands up. More attackers.
Yeah, but we can't see where it came from, and it's not on the boat where it came from, but we can't see, and it's not like far enough that it was like so far that we can't see them from the distance. It's magic.
Potentially invisible, yes.
Yeah.
She makes her way up to the deck, sort of walking with a walking stick.
I'm gonna when she does this, I'm gonna try to in be like around her area to just be careful that now that there's like a higher priority target, if there's any other arrows to block in front of her.
Yeah.
Sure.
Bodyguard.
Sure. Um, she starts looking around and she like reaches kind of into her blouse and produces a crystal and starts peering through the crystal with her good eye. And she says, if anyone was using magic to cloak their presence, they're gone now.
Weird.
Then we're not safe here. We need to set sail.
We do. And she kind of looks around and says, it looks like those shots were designed to prevent that very thing. I don't think they're as interested in destroying us as they are in delaying us.
Yeah, indeed. I would think so as well, but regardless of the holes, I believe we might be able to still move at a reasonable pace.
Good. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, let's go.
I'll get the militia back up onto the ships.
You
yeah.
you gather everyone together, getting ready to move as quickly as you can. Um, let's just see. I would say war or presence probably would be your best bets. To try to go ahead and get people, see how effectively and how quickly we can get the party started, get people moving. If you want to coordinate the crowd, tell Ray you can help coordinate that crowd. You can coordinate repairs. You can focus on if there's something else you would prefer to approach, whatever, however you'd like to. What would you like to, I guess, focus your energy on while Vulcan is getting the crowd onto the ship?
I'm gonna use
I
project.
can help navigate, like, what's the best way to get out of here, like,
Awesome. Yeah.
quickly.
Go ahead and make your navigate roll. And Vulcan, you said you were leaning on presence?
Yes.
All right, let's see it.
5 successes.
Glorious. You're
I
able
got
to
2.
get people together relatively quickly. As you're trying to plot a route, the navigator that you had picked up on Wu Jian,
She's like, hey, that's my job.
she comes over and says, please allow me to assist you.
Thank you. Yes. Put our heads together.
That's putting it nicely.
You're able to get out to sea, and once you are moving, The navigator sort of pulls you to the side, Telrea, and says, I believe I may have some insights into the attack, but I am leery of sharing them with anyone who's not of your house.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
Can you get Vulcan and we can perhaps discuss this privately? Maybe we can go up to the crow's nest.
Yeah, good idea. Vulcan,
She says, I'll meet you there.
let's
And
go.
she climbs up. And you're heading over to Vulcan?
Yeah. Vulcan, hey, we have insider information that we need to hear from our navigator.
But-
Up in the crow's nest. Let's go.
Oh, it's so far up. Okay. Yeah. I will decidedly put my Diclave away into the. Even though I'll say I was training with them with it, and then thank God I have the aerial summoning gesture of me closing it into a pocket dimension, or else I'd be climbing with a giant slab of jade. But that's not gonna happen this time. I'll get up there.
You make your way up to the crow's nest, and she's waiting for you, Valentine.
I'll
Sort
just
of looking out over
walk
the water.
over, and the first thing I say is, "Valentine, you realize this is both inconspicuous and conspicuous at the same time. You would ask both of us up into the crow's nest."
For certain, I assure you no one is going to notice.
Yeah, navigators have meetings with their people they work for all the time. Don't worry about it.
Mm.
I'm entrusting the two of you with this information, and I'm not doing so lately, but I believe out of everyone involved, you are the two most properly equipped to cope with and address that which I'm revealing to you.
Okay.
Right.
Your assailants, those who attacked the ship to try to delay our arrival in the Imperial City, were exalts.
Figured as much.
Particularly, though, they are not of dragon blooded.
Oh shit.
There are. Tell me, how much do you know about Heaven's interior workings?
Nothing.
Not very much. Unfortunately.
What I'm going to tell you, you may find a bit hard to believe and a bit harder to retain the totality of the knowledge that I'm going to share. There are a group of exalted who work alongside the bureaucracies of heaven to ensure that fate plays out the way that it is intended to play out. These exalts are known as the sidereal. There are factions within the sidereals who believe that the current course of the realm is counter to what fate had intended. That the disappearance of the Scarlet Empress has gone unanswered for too long, and that it is time to force Destiny's hands to place a new ruler on the throne. that faction has set events into motion, which have now culminated in this realm civil war.
How do you know about this?
Because I am of an opposing faction of the Sidereal Exalted.
Oh.
Nemoya did not know this, nor would you recall it unless I wish it to be so after this discussion. Our role as stewards of fate offers our identities some magical protection.
I see.
That's why we couldn't see them?
In part, yes.
Do they not support Neiman?
They do not. They have placed their support with the Pelops Catholic Alliance.
Here's a question. Why the two of us? Why tell us and not Niemand?
Because the two of you are loyal to the realm. You are loyal to the Immaculate Order. And then you are loyal to the people and spirits who are your subordinates.
And you don't believe
Niman,
that Neiman is?
Niman is loyal to Niman. And then everything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
That is true.
But beyond that, I know that your shared house is familiar with and capable of, shall we call it, shadow play, spycraft, deception.
That is what we're known for.
And I know that you, Volcan, are in dire need of redemption. And this knowledge, if applied properly, could lead to the redemption of an entire house, if you take my meaning.
What's
I
she
do.
talking about?
Well, if the fate of the realm is at stake, a simple house is it's a gesture, I would say.
I believe the two of you will serve what is right because you are loyal to what is right, but I also believe in providing incentives. If my faction has our way, if we're able to restore order, I'll be in a position to better facilitate redemption, the clearing of names, the airing of filthy laundry, the cleansing of past sin.
Having factions of fate is dangerous. We don't know what fate we're really following, the ones that are truth or lies. But I suppose if it's the realm that we're talking about, I think Talrea and I have a very... Oh, pretty good sense of how we are best to serve the people, right? I'll just kind of turn to Tareya.
I mean, I'm open to different options, I guess. But yeah, uh, Cess is good, Pelip's bad. So far, right?
So far,
All I ask is that you do continue with your plan. You deliver Niman to the Imperial City. You allow her to make her bid for the throne. You support her in whatever ways you can. Once we've arrived at the Imperial City, I will reach out to my contacts in Yushan and find out what they would like your next move to be.
So wait, does your faction have certain backing from what you call fate? What actually is that?
It is difficult to explain. We all weave on the loom of fate. Sometimes the destinies we weave can contradict one another. Sometimes that leads to shadow conflicts or wars that perhaps the participants aren't even necessarily aware of what they're actually fighting about. Occasionally, it rips a hole through reality itself, and a hero who was never born or never meant to be born in this world slips through, and a group of wild hunters wind up entangled with them, poisoning them in a particularly advantageous position to gain a broad view over the realm's civil war.
you meant that wild hunt that we were on.
Indeed. Addressing a single rift that had opened up in the loom of fate between two warring factions that caused someone to slip through, appear in a reality not their own. Their confusion, their unanchored fate flailing about them, changing reality in their presence. It's a hell of an alarm klaxon to sound, and it's a uh, perhaps inelegant way of drawing the attention of some heroes, but it was what needed to be done.
See. Well, I think I've heard enough. We may have things to discuss outside of this, but I hear the plea, and as long as our goals align, you could be sure that we will continue on this path.
She nods. Your discretion is appreciated. Above and beyond the fact that the more who know about this, the more dangerous it is that my opponents might read.
And our fellow hunter, then, of House Tepet.
Were I interested in sharing this with Maris? Maris would be in this meeting. For now, and trust that I have my reasons, this must stay between the three of us.
Uh, who are you?
Who
Who are
am
you
I?
really? Like, how did you just happen to be assigned to our ship?
I did not.
And you said that Namoya didn't know about you, right?
Correct. The identity that stands before you did not exist until after Wujan had been invaded.
Oh.
I needed a way onto your boat. So I threaded a new identity into the loom of fate. I created this person you see before you and inhabited that identity. Complete with Nemoya's recollection of a lengthy, loyal, and distinguished service.
Holy shit. What were you before that?
Many things, many people. One of the ways that we steward fate is crafting temporary identities to fulfill the needs of our assignments. If you're asking who I was prior to my exaltation, I was an urchin in Forks.
Wow.
About a century ago.
Okay. Shit just got extra serious.
The fate of the realm was at stake already. I don't think it could get more serious than that. But it does add additional weight to it.
If I fear that if the Catholic Pelops Alliance is able to wrestle control of the realm, the cost of them doing so will be so great that the realm will crumble at the following onslaught of anathema.
That's bad.
As the returning solars and their lunar companions see the realm floundering after the hard-fought victory of Catholic and Pelops, they'll be able to swoop in and pick the realm apart. That does not serve heaven's goals.
No, I would say it does not.
That's good that, heaven doesn't want that.
My hope is that if we can get Niman there and get her on the throne before things escalate, that weakness will never manifest to the degree that it will embolden the anathema.
Makes sense to me. Okay. Well, we have extra ally now. That's what we've wanted this whole time. And we also know that another goal we have is to more directly contact heaven as we keep going.
But unfortunately, this extra ally here is not going to be directly of service in a lot of ways.
What sort of service do you need? What would you have me do?
Outside of guidance, unfortunately, not too much. We don't know what to expect when we get there, and we can really only trust ourselves.
Yeah, you said you could contact your network, wait further instruction from them.
Once I get
Good to have that backing.
Once I get to the city, it'll be easier. I know that you've sent a spirit ahead to Jan to inform them of what was going on. So that should help. Perhaps they'll even have additional contacts waiting for me. The unfortunate reality, though, is that the other faction, if they are sending sidereals directly to impede us, um, well, they they may have intercepted your divine messenger, or may have otherwise ascertained the challenge to their perception of fate that you present. I don't believe they're aware of my presence, because if they were, I would assume they would have targeted me directly.
Of course.
If there's factions of citadels that uh, interpret fate in different ways and interpret the will of heavens in different ways, does that mean that there are also uh, factions or differing ideals and stuff within the heavens themselves that directly influence these factions and tell them the certain things that they have to go on? Like,
Oh, for
is heaven
certain.
divided?
Absolutely. The games of divinity determine who is most favored and which agendas are placed forward.
Hmm. Jeez.
For, be it considered fortunate or unfortunate, the incarnate have cloistered themselves for the most part. Their games of divinity taking place beyond even the observation of the sidereals most of the time. That means that on a macro level, for lack of a better word, creation is not receiving guidance. The unconquered sun, Luna, Gaia, they do not generally place their hand on the rudder these days. That has been left to the lesser gods and to the sidereals.
Ugh. Well, that makes things complicated. Yeah.
There are some who believe that by shunning, for lack of a better term, the celestial exalted, the incarnate became offended, leaving the terrestrial exalts and the lesser gods to deal with creation sans their wisdom. Their activities would indicate that that may be true. Now, do I think we would get a more favorable result if we were to somehow draw the attention of the incarnate to these situations? I do not. Would be doing that. I fear that should the unconquered sun return his gaze to creation, we might be in quite a bit of trouble. And there are some among the sidereal who believe that he has, and that is why the resurgence of solars has taken place. There are even.
Right, this was.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. Right, this was a lot of information. A lot more that we need to discuss. Is it possible for us to converse with you on any other topics later on down the line?
Of course, you know where to find me. I shan't be far.
All right. Talrea, you wanna head down? Have a little discussion real quick while Maris is still busy.
Yeah. Okay.
I appreciate your information. And is there any name that I would call you outside of?
It's best if you just call me Valentine.
Okay. All right then, Valentine.
She
And
nods.
I'm gonna climb. I'm gonna climb down.
All right.
Head to the resting quarters. I assume everybody has their own like private room and whatnot. I'll just kind of be at the door of Tarea's room.
I was gonna say you tell Rhea and Maris do.
Yeah,
I would say
Mhm.
everybody else doesn't, but you three
exactly. Yeah,
do.
I would
We're
say
special.
so. It's our ships. No,
So yeah, Torre, do you follow down, or do you have any questions for Valentine before you leave?
I definitely have more questions, but I will think of them later, you know.
Right on.
But yeah, let's go.
So
I will go.
you make your way back down and find Vulcan, waiting by your chamber door.
Hey,
dude, want to go in? Away from prying ears.
definitely.
I'll just like wait until she steps in first, I guess.
After
And
me.
yep,
It's my
it
room.
is your room. I'll go inside and immediately just as soon as I close the door, I'll just go, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. We've been pulled like puppets on a string ever since the hunt, and now only the two of us are being told. I don't like having to exclude Maris on this.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from with all that. It's definitely weird. I mean, I get it that uh Valentine trusts our house in particular, so it's us, and I don't see what she would have against Tepet or Maris. Um, but yeah, the puppet aspect is new information that definitely does worry me a bit. But I mean, everything she said makes sense. And if anything, now we've got a more direct route to saving the world, at least
One part of it, though,
one little bit of guidance,
this is
one more than we had before.
the the other thing that bothers me. I'm sure you've also thought of it is the fact that they are trying to get us to help someone on to the throne that they don't even trust.
I guess who else is there, you know?
I think it's just the easier path. I think we need to, if anything, the houses need to stand together. If this uprising, if too many Catholic and Pelops cause too much disruption during this uprising, it doesn't matter whether Niemon is on the throne or not. If it's not
Absolutely.
enough to stop them, the chaos will still ensue. The Solars and Lunars will still see an opening.
Mm-hmm.
It's a civil war, and the only chance that we have is to stop it as soon as we can, but we don't have the power to do that.
Well, not at the moment, but with this new kind of backing that we have in our corner, or at least in the corner that is associated with us, it'll help.
I suppose.
Yeah, let's just see how this goes. Especially since we don't have any other plan besides Neiman and this faction of heaven-backed weirdos.
So, it's agreed then we keep the sidereal between us, just the two of us.
For now, if only to keep her satisfied.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to play nice with her at the moment. I don't see any reason not to.
Yeah, we can do that. We can that'll be fine.
Glorious. That said, is there anything else that you would like to try to accomplish throughout the course of the um, journey?
Um I think the only last thing would be if I had any sort of journey, I will be spent or any time during the journey, I will spend time trying to train the militia as best as possible. But if it doesn't change their drill at all, it doesn't matter. It's just kind of more for flavor.
Sure, that's fine. Let's go ahead and let's.
I was, I'm sorry.
So go ahead.
I was like my specialty is more about them being able to defend themselves, less about them being able to work as a group. So it would still mostly be focused on close combat, if anything, and not war.
Okay. Let's do a couple of things. Let's have Telrea. Let's have you give us some navigate checks just to see how our journey is going to go. And then we'll also have some close combat checks for you to train. So we're going to do 5 navigate checks and see what the results of those 5 navigate checks are, and then we'll do 3 training checks to cover that time. So for our first navigate check, these are all going to be at difficulty 3 for you, Telrea. Would you like assistance from Ellentine on this?
Yes.
All right, so let me drop a couple of rolls real quick just to see what she can bring to the party for you. Okay, so she's actually going to reduce the number of milestones that you need by 1, bring it down to 4. She will then give her navigate fortitude. I'm just double checking a rule here real quick. Okay. So on your first roll, you will get 4 bonus dice.
Nice.
So go ahead and give me that navigate roll if you don't mind. And
Mhm.
again, we're going to be difficulty 3 here. And basically, as we resolve these, if you succeed on a section, you'll move along. If you fail on a section, that will add an obstacle that we will have to address in the next session.
Okay. The first one is 6 successes.
Beautiful. You get through the first section of travel with no major issue. On the second roll, you will receive only 1 bonus die.
8 for some reason. I got like
8
4
successes.
10s.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That will be sufficient to let you blow past the third one, and then we come to the final roll here. Yeah, that shakes out for you. One
We
second.
swerved the sharks.
Oh wow, they're going to be giving you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bonus dice on the final roll. As you are plotting your way, you're making shortcuts. You're going around weather phenomenon. You're zipping along like a master. At least the first part of the trip. Let's see how this last chunk goes.
Just 3
Just 3.
this time.
It's enough to avoid any major mishaps. You are able to skirt yourself basically just out of the perception of rather large and terrifying sea creature. Like you can see it, but it doesn't see you. But all told,
Sweet.
working together with Valentine, you're able to make really good time getting to the Imperial City,
Nice.
arriving a couple of days prior to when you thought you were going to. So let's get those close combat checks, please, for your while you're training your folks.
How
And
many
these,
do you want?
let's have 3 of them. They're going to be at difficulty 4, and then what we'll do is we're going to take the defense because you're effectively, you said you're trying to work on making them more resilient, right? Improving their
Exactly,
defensive.
that they can like block. Block and
Perfect.
dodge is probably the 2 things that are probably the most important things.
So what we're probably going to do, just to make it as easy as possible, is we're going to go with the Savant stat block because it's not particularly fighty.
Okay.
So that's going to start with a core defense of 2. So what we'll do is, if you gain a success on the roll, it will increase it. Well, let me rephrase. Your difficulty is 3, but in order to increase their defense, you're going to need to spend a number of successes equal to their defense. So you're going to need 5 to kick it up to a 6, if that makes sense, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And then on the next roll, you would need 3 above.
Okay. Yep. Well, the first one only had 4 successes, so nothing.
So that is not enough to increase their defense, but you are getting some training in.
3, 4, 5. This one has 5.
Okay, so cumulatively, with the 2 that you got previously above, or the 1 that you got previously above, the second one would bring it to their
3.
defense to a 3, and then you would have the 3 left, so that will bring their defense to a 4. And you get one
Okay.
more roll.
And that's 1, 2, 2 successes only, so nothing.
All right, so nothing on that last roll, but you can note that you're using the Savant stat block, and your defense is up to 4.
Sounds good.
All right. With that, Is there any other business that you want to attend on the trek? Any other things that you want to address? Because otherwise, I think we should probably park the boat there so we don't get too far ahead of Maris.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm okay
Yeah,
with that.
me
All right.
too.
Excellent. In that case, let's award us some milestones, shall we? You all get a minor milestone just for being here. Congratulations.
Yay.
Was there a personal goal or accomplishment that Vulcan achieved this session?
Uh, I would want to say that I kind of played around with the intimacy of my lineage accidentally here.
Yeah,
So
yes, I would say so. I would say so. You may take a personal milestone. How about for
okay.
Telrea? Any personal goal?
uh, I don't know. I don't know.
All right, nothing.
I don't
Nothing
think so.
leaps out at you. That's fine. No worries. And then your Exalt milestones. One day I will have all these right. You are wood. Is that correct, Vulcan?
Yes.
All right. So, did you experience something new and exciting to you with a significant character or group, or did your actions foster change in a significant character or group?
I've the character has never met a Sidereal before.
Yeah, I would say that's new and exciting. And you've been never that you know of. You may have and just had it, fall out of your memory.
Yeah, yeah.
And
What a
then,
loophole that is, huh?
yeah, it's wild. Then Telrea, you're water, right? So,
Yep.
did you adapt your plans to accommodate a significant change of circumstances? I would say yes as well, because the introduction of the um, sidereal has altered your approach a little bit, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, rock and roll. Well, that, my friends, is where we will park the boat. Short session this time, but that's okay. We don't want to get too far ahead of Ryan. Ryan, we hope you're feeling better soon and able to join us next session. Um, and let's go ahead and do our outros. So, if you would, please, Michael, tell us who you are, what you do, who you're playing, your pronouns, their pronouns, and anything you would like to promote.
I'm Michael. I'm a composer, voice actor, and writer. I also Twitch on stream. I stream on Twitch as it's really weird. Um, and on Astra's VTuber, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and I was playing Sassus Volcan, man with sword that I did not get to use, and yeah, it's been fun.
Been a blast having you here. Always a pleasure to get together and play. Appreciate
Yeah.
you being here. And Bliss, your pertinent details, please.
I am Bliss Steele, she, her, been playing Cessus Torreya, also she, her. I stream spicy video gaming streams on a couple of adult-centered video gaming sites, and you can check that out if you're over 18 at blisssteel.com to see all my links and stuff. And I also have done a couple of writing projects for Odysseys and Overlords, which is pretty cool.
That is very cool.
So yeah, that's a new thing that I've been doing. So yeah, that you can find those on Drive Through RPG, I believe. And I will be streaming later today. If you're interested, it's gonna be Dragon Age 2. So that's what's going on.
Awesome. And yeah, and I've just thrown your new release, the link to that in the chat. So it is a Creatures Inside quest release for Odysseys and Overlords that Bliss wrote. It's super awesome. I highly recommend you all go pick it up. Not just because we will both make a couple of cents when you do, but also because it's fun and it's cool. It's a really neat, exciting creature to drop into your Odysseys and Overlords game. And I guess since we've gone ahead and popped the seal on talking about Savage Worlds, it would be silly of me not to mention that I have just completed and installed and updated the errata on Gauntlet of Spirigos for Savage Worlds. That is up. It helped if I put the right code to activate it. There we go. That is up over at DriveThruRPG. It's everything you need to get started with your Scarred Lands journey into Savage Worlds. It's got ready-made characters, ready to run adventure. It's even got notes on how to apply the first 5 advances that you would earn during the course of the adventure. It's all ready to go, and if you pick it up now, then you'll get a coupon for a discount on POD once the POD is cleared. I'm just waiting for my proofs to arrive, and then we'll be doing PODs on that book, so that's super exciting. Last thing I want to make sure that I mention before we hit the road, of course, Essence Player's Guide over at Backer Kit right now. If you've not yet backed it, head over, grab it. Lots of cool stuff. It's got a new chapter for each Exalt type with tons of new charms, alternate Exalt milestones, tips and tricks on how to play those Exalt types. So very cool, very much worth the money. Go give that a shot. I would like to once again thank my players for being here, always being a good time. Thank the audience, whether you're watching live or in VOD. And just remind you all to be good to yourselves and each other. And the world is a very dark place, so see if you can bring a little light to it. We will see you again in 2 weeks' time. Till then, take care.
Bye.
Bye.